Have you ever felt like there's more to life? Like there's a hidden potential just waiting to be unlocked? I used to feel that way when I was in school, but I learned to ignore it and just keep on going through the motions. Until that early intuition came back to slap me in the face when I turned 39. I really had been missing out on harnessing my full potential my whole life. Thanks to the pandemic, I accidentally made one simple change that boosted both my brain power and my fitness like nothing I had ever known. What if the key to unlocking your full potential is simpler than you think? What if it's just a matter of truly harnessing your own nature instead of just going with the flow of the world as it is presented to you? Join me on this journey of self-discovery as I share how this one simple change completely altered the direction of my life. So here we go. Since I was a baby, I followed most of the rules. Go to school, wear Mickey Mouse ears, get a degree, get a stable job, get a house, get married, have kids. I did all those things, and even some others that weren't in the script. I became a snowboard instructor, spent 2 years traveling, hung out with a tiger, got blessed by an elephant, worked in 4 different countries, and started 2 businesses. I even had a diplomatic passport for a while. I was pretty restless in my 20s, and by the time I reached my 30s, I finally felt ready to settle down and be content. So I did. I got married, we built a house, we had kids, and I found myself hoping things would stay exactly as they were. I became still. I guess I was like basically ready to grow old. At that time, I was working at a fancy university. I supervised the production of postgraduate e-learning content. I'd been working in the learning field for over 15 years. One day, my boss left his position and declared that I should be the next e-learning director. I was surprised. I was congratulated. This seemed like a good thing. But it's funny how things work out. Before the pandemic, I remember dreaming of having this position. But now I didn't feel that way anymore. The pandemic changed my life. It changed me. And I need to tell you what happened. Long before the pandemic, I loved riding my bike in the park. I needed that exercise to feel good. Then the pandemic hit and its lockdowns meant I couldn't ride my bike in the park for weeks. What could I do? I'm lucky that I live in an enclosed neighborhood with an uphill road. It's not too long, but it was enough for me to do some laps up and down. At least I could move, but it was incredibly boring. What could I do? I started to listen to audiobooks during my boring bike laps. This changed my life, like literally. I'd not been much of a bookworm until then. I'd always read a lot on my computer for work, and I didn't feel inclined to read with my eyes during my free time. And when I did grab a paper book, I found myself getting distracted rather easily, going down rabbit holes of related thoughts. But reading through my ears while my body was busy did something magical to me. Getting my body busy seemed to free my mind to focus on the words. Since my mind was entertained, I exercised more. I started calling this audio cardio learning. It was pure positive magic for me, and it was so simple. I started consuming truckloads of books. I got myself some bone conduction headphones and an audiobook subscription to make it all even better. I looked forward to my next bike lap session. I got in the best shape of my life, and my brain just exploded. I had a revelation. Why didn't I know I could learn like this until now? I mean, I've spent 23 years of my life in school, and I've been working in learning for 15 years. In learning, and I never knew how magical this combination was for me. I just stumbled on it by chance. Gosh, for me, this was like discovering water after being thirsty my whole life. And the water was right in front of me. I just didn't know what water looked like. Why is formal education still all sit and listen? Maybe just because that's how it started and how it continues, like the song that never ends. Do you know that song? I remember when I was a kid, maybe about 12, sitting in a classroom thinking, this is so boring. Is this really the best way to learn? Back then, I concluded, well, it must be because what are the alternatives? I didn't know of any. But now I know it wasn't the best or the only way to learn, at least not for me. And that's why I couldn't be the next e-learning director at this fancy university. Sit and listen is still the default format, and I just couldn't do that anymore. I needed to create learning experiences that leverage movement. So I quit my nice job with a nice paycheck in exchange for figuring out what to do with my pandemic epiphany. My pandiphany? I started to create my own audio cardio learning content using what I knew about learning. The thing is, listening to audiobooks during my bike laps was great, but there was one important problem. It was hard to review the content afterwards if I actually wanted to learn it. I knew I could fix that problem. While I was working on this, I started to ask myself, why is combining exercise with sound such an effective learning strategy for me? Is it just me? What's behind this? These questions then led me to this bigger question. What else could I have understood sooner about my own nature and my environment that would have helped me live better, happier, and easier? Because yeah, I want a good, happy, easy life. That would be nice, right? But the more I read, the more I began to see that the gap between our deep human nature and our systems, behavior, and daily lives is wide and is growing wider. We are still essentially cavemen at a biological level, but this seems to have been forgotten somewhere between the Industrial Revolution, fast food, and smartphones. I started to realize that there is so much to be understood about human nature, that deeply understanding ourselves means observing what shapes and interacts with our mindset, relationships, bodily rhythms, beliefs, unconscious programs, instincts, nutrition, microbiome, emotions, exercise, sleep, history, narrative, anthropology, ethology, ecosystems, and even AI. And with all that, I'm only just scratching the surface. I realized that following my pandiphany would be quite the quest. The quest to crack natural intelligence. By natural intelligence, I mean the ability to work with our own nature to have a better, happier, easier life. This requires understanding and learning to leverage the natural powers that shape our experience of being alive. My name is Kat, by the way. My mission is to help as many people as I can, including myself, to understand and develop our natural intelligence. You know that proverb? If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Well, I want to go far. So I want you to come with me on this journey into incremental world. I'll be posting content that helps us understand and leverage the forces that shape the human experience. I'd also love to know, did the pandemic leave you any surprising gifts? Any pandiphanies? Please tell me in the comments. I honestly don't know where my quest to crack natural intelligence will take me, but I do know that I'll get somewhere. Probably somewhere I never could have imagined. And I love that. So come along. Just like and subscribe. Natural intelligence rules.